So it is no secret that I'm a huge fan of the Apple AirPods Pro 2. I love spatial audio, the noise cancelling is on point, and I think they sound amazing. At $249, almost $350 if you live in Europe, the AirPods are pretty expensive, but I'm willing to pay for good quality. Now, normally, if a company would come to me and claim equal or even better performance at just 99 bucks, I would make my skeptical face. However, I recently reviewed the Soundcore Motion X600 here on the channel, and I was genuinely impressed. The sound coming out of that little speaker is way bigger than you would expect, and they did a fantastic job on the spatial audio as well as the bass boost. If you haven't seen that video, I would encourage you to do so. Anyway, Soundcore set the bar pretty high for itself with that speaker, so when they offered me to review their new Liberty 4 NC buds, I was definitely intrigued. So I've been testing these things for a couple of weeks now, and I'm ready to share my thoughts with you. Can these follow what Soundcore did with the Motion X600, and are these really able to compete with the Apple AirPods Pro 2? Let's ramble.
Hold up, place go wild when I pull up. They all on me like it once.
Hey, what is up guys? It's great to see you all again, and if you're new here, I'm Patrick and this is where I ramble about tech and other stuff. So guys, obviously these are earbuds and it's not going to be possible to let you actually hear what I'm hearing, but I will do my best to describe my experience with these, and hopefully that will help you guys out a bit. So before we get into tech, specs, and user experience, let's just have a quick look at what's in the box. Well, good news, it's going to be a very quick unboxing because it seems that Soundcore understood the assignment. Clean packaging, what you see is what you get. It's literally the charging case, the buds already inside, and below it you will find a series of ear tips, you know, in case the ones that come installed don't fit your ears very well. There's 3 different sizes, so there should be something in there for all types of ears. For me personally, the stock tips fit just fine. If you're not sure, there's an actual fit test you can do to help you find that right fit. It takes a bit of digging in the menu, but it's a useful feature to have. There's also Hear ID, which lets you create sound profiles by testing your hearing sensitivity and preferences. So Soundcore sent me the black ones and the light blue ones, but there will also be a dark blue option, a pink, and a white option. Now, the first thing I noticed when I picked these up was how light they felt, almost too light, if that makes any sense. Maybe it's because the case looks and feels relatively big. I expected it to be a bit heavier or something, I don't know. The funny thing though is that it actually isn't any lighter than the AirPods Pro 2. In fact, they weigh exactly the same, 60 grams. The design of the case was something I had to get used to as well. I usually put a leather case around my buds, and I think because of that, these looked and felt a little bit plasticky. But when I opened them, I forgot all about that because A, I really like the spring-loaded system, and B, I think the light looks really good. The earbuds themselves look good in my opinion. I do prefer the black ones, but that is 100% a matter of taste. Instead of sticking the stems into the case, these buds basically attach to the front of the case, but that works really well because the strong magnets pull them in with a satisfying snap. Connecting them to the iPhone was super easy because these come with Bluetooth 5.3, and the rest is done via the Soundcore app, which I will get back to in a minute. Speaking of Bluetooth, the signal on these things is pretty strong. It's advertised at 10 meters, and that sounds about right because when I was wearing them at the gym, I forgot to take my phone with me to the bathroom, and it wasn't until I was all the way across the gym that I noticed my music breaking up a little bit. The case is charged via USB-C, take note Apple, and the charging actually happens to be one of the most impressive features of the Liberty 4 NCs because the fast charging option will give you 4 hours of listening time in just 10 minutes of charging. Those same 10 minutes will give you only 2 hours of playback on the AirPods Pro 2. A full single charge results in 10 hours of playback and 50 hours with a charging case. And that's pretty impressive given that the AirPods Pro will offer you 6 hours and 30 hours of playback respectively. They also charge wirelessly, so when I'm at my desk, I just drop them on any wireless charging surface and the indicator light will light up to make sure they are charging, so they're full whenever I need them. Now, that's all great, but for me, the most important part, aside from the audio quality of course, is the noise cancellation. And that is where these really shine because Soundcore claims 98.5% noise reduction. Now obviously I can't really measure if that's accurate, but I can tell you that the noise cancelling is honestly super solid. When I go to the gym, I want to hear my own music without having to hear the terrible music selection at the local gym. These do a great job. I hear no music, no chatter. It's almost dead silent. To achieve that, the Liberty 4 NCs use a system that includes an in-ear sound sensor, a high sensitivity custom driver, and what they call a noise isolation chamber. They also use Soundcore's adaptive ANC, which makes automatic adjustments based on your surroundings. Having said that, if blocking all external noise is not what you're after, there are plenty of options to manipulate the level and type of noise cancelling. You can choose transparency mode so you can listen to your music while still hearing what's going on around you. This is where the mics inside the buds are actually used to pass through the sound around you. And the normal setting, of course, does not include any computational wizardry. It just relies on the natural seal formed by the ear tips. If you don't like what the adaptive noise cancelling is doing, you can always switch to manual mode and set the levels of noise cancelling yourself. There's also a transportation modes option where I guess the noise cancelling is adapted to the mode of transportation you're using. There is also a wind noise reduction slider, which is pretty self-explanatory. You can set a safe volume if you're worried about your ears, or maybe your kids wear these and you want to make sure that they don't overdo it. And lastly, before we get into the actual audio on these things, I wanted to highlight the controls menu, which I think is actually quite useful. You operate the buds by tapping on the sides, but this menu lets you choose what actions you want to assign to the buds when you tap on them. There's a single tap, a double tap, a triple tap, and a long press, and you can choose for either of them what that means. A little side note, I had to get used to how sensitive the tapping feature is because I was so used to pushing my AirPods back into my ears when I'm working out that I constantly paused my track when I switched to the Soundcores. I had to really teach myself to place my finger a little lower to do that. Now let's talk about the actual audio, because that's ultimately what it's all about, right? Normally I would have had relatively low expectations because of the very moderate price point on these Liberty 4 NCs. But like I said earlier, I did that review of the Motion X600 and I was low-key blown away by that speaker, so I didn't know what to expect, to be honest. But quite frankly, I'm very pleasantly surprised by the audio produced by these buds. Now listen, I'm not an audiophile, I'm just a regular guy who appreciates good music and enjoys a good listening experience. When I'm at the gym, I want my music to sound crisp, but I also want that bass to do work because I need to get hyped, don't I? And these things definitely deliver. Out of the box, the audio is set to the Soundcore signature profile, and that sounds fine, but like I said, I need that bass in my life, so my finger slides down to the setting right below the Soundcore signature, which is the bass booster. But as you can see, there are lots of profiles to choose from, all serve a specific purpose, and if you still can't find something that hits your spot, you can custom EQ your listening experience by using the 8 bands. For me, the sweet spot is bass booster and 3D surround sound on. That's when the music really pops for me. Just don't forget to turn off 3D surround when you're done listening to music, because if you try watching a video with it on, it will sound like you're standing in a church. So guys, all in all, I'm pretty impressed by these buds, especially considering the price. Audio quality, battery life, ANC, it's all there. If you want to pick up a pair for yourself, there's a link in the description. Guys, I hope the video was useful to you. If it was, please give it one of these. It really does make a difference. Subscribe for more content. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next one.